Who's less patriotic?
Who's less patriotic, me or you?
It's for sure you.
What?
It's for sure you.
You think I'm less patriotic than you?
Yes, absolutely, 100%.
Well, yeah, I don't believe in sovereignties.
Everything you said in this podcast shows how little regard and respect you have for this country. America, which we're both citizens of, is currently funding and committing a genocide on my people, and yet I'm still more patriotic than you. That's how little respect you have for this country.
Why? Look.
The Fed's not done, and I'm going to tell you why.
Welcome back to Sean's show, guys. This is episode 37. 37 weeks I've been doing this shit, man.
Wow.
Yeah.
Every week? Once a week?
Once a week, every week.
What keeps you motivated?
Guys, it's been a great show. We'll see you next time. Not much. I don't know, man. Just because I tell myself I want to get to 100.
Yeah.
And then at 100, you know how people like think about suicide? They're like, if I don't make it by 30, I'll kill myself.
Oh, okay.
That's kind of how I am with this podcast.
Yeah.
Like, its show isn't making money.
But you made it past 30, so why haven't you killed yourself?
Well, Sammy, I'd like, oh, no, just blow my brains out. I'm here with Sammy Obeid, a legendary comedian. And I've been
on the pod before, actually. This is my second time.
Yes, this is your second time on the show.
They should know that.
Yeah,
they should know that.
Yes, they should know that.
What episode was that? 16?
Like 16, 17.
Here we are, 20 episodes later.
20 episodes later, you're wearing neon.
No personal growth at all.
But we're here in Chicago.
That's right.
Doing some sold out. You sold out the Den Theater.
Sold out the Den Theater, 4 shows. We have Sean Riley opening. And Sean Riley opening. Yeah.
And it's been great. Yeah, I mean, it's let's jump right in. I mean, I got some topical news.
Let's get topical, man.
Let's just, and people already know for my new listeners, because I've gotten a new listener since you were last on.
Really?
Yeah. I'm in the hundreds.
I'm
in the hundreds.
You're in the hundreds?
Yeah.
Congratulations.
110.
Congratulations.
They're all in Tel Aviv, actually.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So was my grandma at one point.
Is that true?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
I thought she was Palestinian.
Yes. So
there
you go. There you go.
But was it still
37 episodes later? He realizes the genre. No, it was called.
I've heard your hour like 40 times.
It was called Jaffa.
Oh, I didn't know what Jaffa was.
Jaffa is what is now Tel Aviv.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, lots of updates. I mean, Iran attacked Israel.
Yeah.
Unprovoked.
Completely unprovoked. Completely unprovoked. Aside from the deliberate attack on their embassy in Syria and the 30,000 Palestinians dead.
Yep.
But aside from that, it was unprovoked.
Yep. I mean, it was. I mean, unprovoked is maybe too light of a word. I would say it's,
You'd say it was what?
I would say it's what's even more like. I mean, unprovoked. It was like they were friends. It was a betrayal.
They were friends. It
was more than unprovoked. It was a betrayal.
Absolutely.
Iran and Israel were like SpongeBob and Patrick. It was like SpongeBob.
I don't know
Patrick.
that reference, but that sounds
SpongeBob SquarePants.
Well, no, I mean, I know you say SpongeBob. I'm like, never heard of the guy. No, I don't know of SpongeBob's friends. I'm not into I know SpongeBob and I know Living Like Larry. That's okay. That's where it stops.
I mean, I feel, dude, people make references to like Steven Universe.
I don't know.
Have you even heard of that?
No.
People talk about Steven Universe and all these other shows that came out like after I stopped watching cartoons.
Huh.
And it's bad, dude. Getting old.
Steven Universe is something that kids cartoon?
It's like a Disney kids cartoon. It's good, but it's good that you don't know a lot about. If you knew a lot about SpongeBob, I'd be like, that's weird. It's weird that you know about like a kids show.
Well, yeah, I guess, yeah.
Because it wasn't your era.
That's true.
I'm not trying to date you.
No, it's fine. How old are you?
27.
27.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay, so yeah, you're not that old or young. You're kind of somewhere in the middle.
I'm in the middle.
Yeah.
You have any advice Should we just do like what should we? Can we do like an alpha male advice column?
Yeah, no, sure.
So if I want like Sammy, I'm trying to take my life to the next level, dude. I'm watching porn, I'm smoking weed, I'm jacking off. Like, what do I do?
In your 20s, it doesn't matter if you work hard or don't. It just doesn't matter. Nothing matters because you're not.
Is this real or?
I guess we'll find out. in your 20s, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. You can because you could totally fuck up in your 20s and then turn it all around in your 30s when you have a little wisdom on your shoulders.
Yeah,
or you could really work really, really hard in your 20s and get this huge success that rolls in when you're 30s, and then have like a existential crisis in your 30s.
I feel like that happens to a lot of people.
Oh, I've seen it happen to people. I have a lot of friends who got extremely successful in their 20s, and then in their 30s, they're just out of touch with reality.
Are these people in entertainment, or are they in like tech and are they in like different industries?
Both actually, both. Yeah.
And like what do they like lose purpose? Like they just lose.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if I would say very few people get a level of success in their 20s where they become millionaires in their 30s. Very few people, right? Mm-hmm. We're talking a very slim minority of people. But I know, a lot of people like that. And, once you elevate to that, like you lose your thirst for life,
right.
You lose your thirst, you lose your drive. I'm not saying that it's, nobody should do this, but there's plenty of people who got extremely successul in their 20s and then continued, and now they're running for president in 2024.
RFK.
Yes, it's RFK Jr. How'd you know?
This whole time,
how'd you know?
You were like, look, some people that get really successful in their 20s, they see their whole family get murdered in front of them.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
But they persevere.
Right.
They persevere.
Right.
And now they're running for president. They're not going to win.
And their name is Batman. Is RFK Batman?
I thought
saw his whole family get murdered in front of him.
Dude, RFK, do you think RFK ran up to JFK when he was killed? And it was like an uncle.
Was RFK there? Was he there?
No, I don't think he was there.
Oh, well, then he's a suspect. Where was he? Where was he then?
He was the second. RFK was the second shooter. That would be so crazy.
Yeah. How old was he?
How old was he at that time? I don't know, because he's like pretty old now. He's in his 70s.
My mom's a suspect in that because my mom was in Dallas.
That's crazy.
She says she was in school. But
maybe
that second shot was a little sloppy.
Have you been to the site of his
JFK's assassination?
The road. Have you been to have you seen John Marco Cerezi and I? We went to the museum. Not since that day.
Yeah.
Not since that fateful day. Were you a fetus? You were still a sperm in your dad.
Yeah, I wasn't even. I was pre-sperm, man. I was molecules in food somewhere. I was probably in a tree.
Yeah,
I was probably in a tree
plotting
that eventually grew to feed animals and make fruits that my dad later ate to make the sperm.
Right.
But I was an egg, because the egg that made you, your mom was born with it. So half of me was already there.
There's something oddly disturbing about
women.
There we go. Now we're podcasting. No, about like female
reproductive
babies. What city is this? This is Chicago, Sammy. You better be careful. We're not an odd.
Just trying to match the vibe. I don't know what your podcast is. Like
all of my listeners are libertarian anarchists. No, some of them really are, dude. Anyway, no, I mean it's. I just thought of this, like, female babies are born with the eggs that they use to reproduce.
Yes.
That just feels, I don't know. That just feels like unsettling to me.
You don't like the idea that women are born to later have children?
It just feels like, it's kind of like, it just feels almost like
a cheap shot?
Almost feels pedophilic.
Okay.
Like,
because
why are you like the baby's born, like, why are you thinking about this baby reproducing? It's just got born.
Why are the scientists even looking in there, is what you're saying?
Yeah, or like, it's just, I don't know.
So would you rather have them found the eggs and didn't tell you? That's called an Easter hack.
Yo, I found this huge Easter egg.
Yeah,
in my girlfriend, guys.
Yeah. No, yeah, women are born with their eggs, all of them. So I have a bit about this in my stand-up that I haven't done in a while, but I'm going to bring it back soon. But basically, when was your mom born?
My mom was born in 1959.
Okay, so half of your genetic material, half of your genetic consciousness was created in 1959.
Wow.
Yeah. Or, the year, it depends on what month was she born in. You don't know your mom's birthday?
January. January.
Okay, so 1958 was the construction of half of your genetics. 1958.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Because it was my grandma's conception of my mom.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because when my mom was conceived, my eggs were grown.
Yes.
That's crazy to think about, dude.
Well,
that's crazy.
Yeah, but when was your grandma born?
Oh my God. I mean, she was 80. She was like 91 when she died.
Okay. What year?
Which was a couple years ago.
Okay.
2023 minus 91.
So like she was like 1928.
Like right before the Great Depression.
Right before Black Friday.
Yeah.
Okay. She was born on Black Friday. Let's assume she was born on
huge
Black
deals,
Friday.
huge sales.
Yeah. So
which Black Friday are you talking about?
Sorry, Black Tuesday. Black Tuesday. I called it Black Friday. It was Black Tuesday, right? Black Tuesday.
She was born on Cyber Monday.
Right.
It was 1919. Right.
Well,
she was born on Cyber Monday.
It's Cyber Friday. So because it's always 3 days after. So let's say your grandma was born in 1928, right?
Yeah.
And so she was born with the egg that made your mother, and your mother was born with the egg that made you, right?
Sorry, can you start over? You already lost me.
So, well, you already agreed to the premise that half your genetic material was created in 1958, right?
Right. When my grandma conceived my mom.
Yes.
Correct. Because that was my eggs.
Yes.
The creation of my egg
that made you. The creation of your egg.
Correct. Okay.
Now, your mother created the egg that made you, right?
Right.
And all of your mother's genetics, half of your mother's genetics came from the genetics of the egg that made her.
Right.
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 And the egg that made her, when she was made the egg that made you. Okay. So half of your genetics were created in 1958, and the genetics that made your mom were created in 1928.
Right.
Ish, something, whatever that was. And so that's a quarter of you.
Right.
A quarter of you was created in 1928.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when was Israel created?
1948. Yeah. So
what are you getting at? So a quarter of me was created in
1928.
And then an eighth of me was created
in the 1800s.
1800s.
Yeah. So you're a racist.
That sounds good. I was either going to go, I'm racist, or you should be shocked that I'm as little racist as I am. Given that half of me was made
given your history
in 1958.
What year were you born?
96.
Yeah, it was a pretty racist year.
96 was a racist year?
Oh, absolutely.
Well, the 90s were really racist, right?
90s were really racist, yeah. So
people forget that. Yeah. I feel like, have you seen these memes? People are like, oh, why can't we go back to the 90s? There was no racism in the 90s. We all didn't care. No one talked about race in the 90s.
That's not true, but that's not true.
In white suburbs, that was true.
Yeah, but it's not true that the 90s weren't racist, but the 90s were awesome.
Yeah.
I would totally trade whatever progress we've made today to go back to the 90s.
So go back to, what was your favorite thing about the 90s?
Just like
Rodney King's death.
Well,
sorry.
See, this is just further proof that you're racist. But I think that
was that in Chicago. Oh fuck, that was not in Chicago.
Rodney King? No, it was in L.A.
Oh, L.A.
Fucking racist. He's like, what are all these cities are the same, right? All you cities look the same. That's dude. That's so racist. So the 90s were just like, it was like this new era of promise of, built on a shitty foundation, but like video games became like a really big thing.
Right.
Like video games were just kind of an elite, or like they weren't really developed before the 90s.
Was it kind of like where VR is now?
And there was like Atari and stuff in the 80s, but the real and Nintendo, but like in the 90s, man, like they really came out. And the internet started in the 90s. The internet started in the 90s, and And yeah, it was just, you know, like there was like the war in Iraq, like the Gulf War. And also, you know, President Clinton had all sorts of scandals, but people weren't like as upset about them as they are stuff today.
Yeah.
Because so much was hidden from us back then because the internet didn't exist.
Yeah.
So like right when the internet came out, but before it ruined our lives, that was like the peak of existence. And that was also the peak of our stock market. Like there was a huge boom and then a crash in the beginning of the 2000s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the internet was like, there were no rules on the internet.
There is no rules. No.
Right? You could like joke about whatever you wanted.
You could do whatever. Yeah, you could. There's just
you could buy drugs online.
Yeah, you could go into chat rooms and meet whoever you wanted.
Yeah, you could still do that.
Yeah, but like back in the just there wasn't regulation back then. There wasn't regulation, and so it was a free internet. I'm not saying that's a good thing. I'm just saying that like this is before everything got exploited. So yeah, I would say the 90s were the peak of human existence, specifically 1997.
1997.
Mm-hmm.
So I was 1 year old.
Yeah, so you've been declining ever since.
Is it 1 year old or 1 year old?
It's 1 year if it felt really long, I guess.
I'm 1 year old. I was a 1 year old.
A 1 year old.
I was 1 year old.
Yes, you were 1 year old.
You know, I don't like how British people say words.
Tell us where this is going before I agree.
Like, they add like a at the end of stuff, don't they?
I really don't like where you're going.
No, I'm really not going there, Sammy. No, Sammy, I promise you.
Yeah, man,
I'm not going there.
Wow.
No. You don't have to worry.
Wow.
No, they add imagine. No, there's word. You know, I'm not gonna.
No.
Cone.
Leave him out of this, okay?
They end words that end with a.
Uh-huh. Oh God, man!
I swear to God, I'm not trying to go there.
Jeez.
They end words.
Wow,
that end with a vowel.
The 1928 is coming out really strong.
Oh my
right
God!
Now.
I'm trying to think of. Let me think of an example.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna go on my phone. I'm just gonna look at an example. This is not a bit.
Sure.
This is not scripted.
Sure.
This is I'm not. You've heard of this though, right, Sammy?
Again, I have to wait to see where you're going with this. If you give me one example,
you'll.
No, I know what you're saying. I mean, when British people say no, they say nor.
Nair. They go nair. Here we go. If you're speaking with a British accent or an Australian accent, generally you don't pronounce the R sound when ER is at the end. No, that's the opposite of what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. Here's Reddit. Why do British speaking people say ER when the word ends with an A? It's known as the intrusive R. It's a feature of English dialects.
Okay.
If a Londoner was to say China is, they would add an R to the beginning of is, not the end of China. So it's more like China Riz.
Oh, interesting.
Which is like my buddy growing up.
Riz.
He was a Chinese guy, he had a little Riz.
Wow. So that's how Riz was created.
It was actually is, but Riz.
Mm-hmm.
Well, anyway, that was a sort of a
yeah, man.
that was a little bit of a detour from from where we were going. Will you ever say something and then you're like, that's not what I meant? You're very choosy with your words.
I've always meant what I said.
You're very decisive.
I just take a moment to think about it and then I
don't do that.
Plowing through. Yeah.
I plow through.
Yeah.
I'm a guy. I plow through.
How's that working for you?
I mean, it's fine so far, but I mean, we'll see. We'll see how it turns out. I do a sponsor on the show.
Okay. Go for it.
So, just like to thank our sponsor, Starbucks, for.
Wow.
I'm joking, Sammy.
Wow.
No, let's talk about boycotts, dude, because I think that is something that like we probably disagree on.
Yeah, I know your stance on boycotts. I've heard.
But like, I'm open minded.
You said boycotts are for pussies. Is that what you're?
I think that was what I said.
Quote? That was my. Is that a direct quote? Boycotts are for pussies.
That is a direct.
Boycotts are for liberal pussies, I believe.
That was the direct quote.
Quote. Yeah. Yeah, I disagree with that. I largely disagree with that.
And there are many examples of them being like effective, right? In history.
Yeah, for instance, the founding fathers.
What did they boycott?
What did they boycott? I mean, you're aware of how this nation was founded, right?
By terrorists, the outer elite of Britain.
That's another interpretation of it. I mean, one man's terrorist is another man's founding father.
That's right.
So
the tea tax,
the tea tax, and the Boston Tea Party were elemental in the foundation of this country, and it was essentially a boycott on tea. And they took it a bit further. They dumped it into the ocean. It was an act of defiance based on taxes. But that was the whole thing. The mantra was no taxation without representation.
And because Britain was a monarchy.
Yes.
But these were also wealth. They had the resources to stage this resistance.
What do you mean? They were doing well?
Yeah, were the people that did the protest against the Boston against the ship?
Mm-hmm.
Were they like in a high class economically speaking?
Well, I mean, this was during the Industrial Revolution.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a lot of hardworking people who did not hold a lot of wealth. Of course, the whole American colony system was relatively wealthy compared to a lot of places in the world because of all the resources, of all the newfound resources they had from obtaining land that
and the pillaging
wasn't really theirs, but
the plundering,
and of course slavery also. So like they were in an economic boom, but like that doesn't mean everybody was rich. There was a lot of people who were of working class
and high taxed.
Yeah,
working class and being taxed at a high rate.
If they were just incredibly rich, I don't think the taxation would have been as big of a deal to them. So certainly there was some kind of economic strain enough for them to feel threatened by taxes. Yeah,
and they threw the tea over the boat.
They dumped tea off the boat. Yeah,
and were they dressed as Native Americans?
I think,
or is that like a?
I think you added that part.
Yeah. Colin, you gotta jump in and break some of these.
Just stop.
Break some of this tension, dude. Didn't you? No, they learned. Weren't they dressed as Hamas, Sammy?
Yeah. I think that was it.
No, but like I thought that I learned in elementary school that they were dressed as Native Americans.
What elementary school did you go to?
I don't want to dox my elementary school because I want to keep it safe because my listeners will hunt me down.
Yeah. Jamestown University.
It was a liberal Bay Area public elementary school.
And they said that the founding fathers dressed as Native Americans on this particular Boston Tea Party event.
I think they said that, I don't know if it was the founding fathers, but like whoever was on the boats,
where they dressed
as Native Americans,
as
a false flag.
False flag. Oh, maybe if that's maybe part of the story, I don't know, but it's possible. Yeah,
that would be some next level shit. They've been doing false flags forever.
Yeah. And
it's whenever you say something's a false flag, everyone's like, you're crazy.
Really?
I think so. I think if you call something a false flag, well, we're comedians and we talk to comics and we're all crazy.
Right.
But I think if you talk to a normal person.
Well, yeah, it's conspiratorial. When you say something's false flag, it's conspiratorial. So.
But like there's so much evidence for like so many false flag operations.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Some of them are crazy. Uh-huh. Like the Alex Jones ones, I'm like, dude, come on. Like the Sandy Hook.
Those are the solid ones. I'm just kidding. I actually totally missed when Sandy Hook happened. I didn't hear about it till years later for some reason. Because I didn't.
You know what the reason was, Sammy?
What?
Because it didn't happen. All right.
All right. Starbucks sponsors this podcast.
Yeah. I mean, they donated to Israel.
Glad to hear it.
I'm not killing people. I'm just talking.
Okay.
They'll donate to murderers.
Yeah. Sure.
No, I don't have any sponsors. I don't think I ever will. A lot of podcasts, they like don't even say fuck in the first 10 minutes of the show because YouTube demonetizes them if they say fuck within the first 10 minutes.
Oh, really? In the first 10? But you can say it in the latter 10?
You can say it after 10 minutes.
So you just be clean for the first 10 and then be like, fuck.
Yes, I'm not even exaggerating.
Like, that's good.
I don't know if that's a rumor, but like a lot of comedy.
That's a false flag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know, dude. It's yeah, dude. I mean, it's you do a lot of stuff in your act about Palestine and stuff, and it's. Is
this a segue?
Yeah, it's a segue.
After we just talked about 10 different thoughts and didn't finish any of them. This is for 80,
I've only had 2 cups of coffee.
Are all 110 followers that have ADHD? Is that
yeah. I mean, anyone that listens, I always say anyone that listens to this, you're scraping the bottom of the barrel. You're at the bottom of the barrel because they've already watched all the top comedy podcasts. They've already watched a tape recording of their mom's funeral.
This is for people who can't make it through 1 minute of Rogan, and then they just switch over to yours.
Hey,
yeah.
I'll take anything I can get.
Yeah. That's why you curse in your first 10 minutes.
I curse. I go, whenever I talk, because I do a lot of stuff in finance, I talk about the tech and finance a lot.
Yeah.
So whenever I do a finance or a tech topic, like Roth IRAs,
right,
or mergers and acquisitions, and I say a term where people don't get it, I'm just like, by the way, if you didn't understand that, just hit that little X on your laptop and get the fuck out of here. Because I don't want you as a listener.
Right.
I want I think my listener base is homeless libertarians and billionaire libertarians.
Homeless libertarians, so all libertarians. The libertarian extremists, basically.
Libertarian extreme.
Yeah.
What's your take on the horseshoe theory? Have you heard of horseshoe theory?
Yeah, horseshoe theory is people who are extremely on extremely left or extremely right are similar. Wait, that's not a horseshoe.
Yeah, it's basically it's bestiality. It's people that are into having sexual relations.
They
with the
horseshoes. Yeah.
No, you're right. It's basically that instead of excuse me,
that would just be a circle theory though.
They should have called it that.
Yeah.
Well, because the whole idea is, it's on the top of the horseshoe on either side, you have right extremism and left extremism.
Right.
And then you go down the horseshoe, and in the center is I guess centrism. Yeah. It's like a pro-centrism theory.
Yeah, I
don't know.
I don't believe in any two-dimensional theories. Things are there's so many more dimensions to evaluate. Political identity.
I know, dude. I feel like you have to go policy by policy.
Yeah.
But then if you go policy by policy and you sort of itemize your beliefs, it just seems like, I don't know, dude. It's just really hard to
Politics are an n-dimensional space where you get to define n based on what you evaluate politics to be.
You want to know what?
Don't go into the ER.
Equals?
Don't go to the ER joke.
I was really not going to go there.
Cool.
So if you don't know what a vector space is, you can go ahead and click that X and stop listening. Vector space is just a plane or a cube, or
an n-dimensional space.
Yeah. And for me, my political space is one dimensional. You know what that dimension is? You know what that one dimension is, Sammy?
What is it?
It's regulation of on the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Wow.
And you either are with me or against me.
You're pro regulation of Marvel, or against?
I regulate them out of existence. I'm actually, we can talk about genocide.
So you're DC.
Talk about a genocide.
So you're DC.
I'm not even no.
Oh,
I'm
you're just against comics.
I'm against comics.
Yeah.
I'm fundamentally against Marvel, DC.
You're
even the good one, the boys.
You're for the genocide of all superheroes.
Yes, I'm Thanos. I'm literally, when Thanos snapped his fingers and all half the superheroes went away, or half the universe disappeared, and including half the superheroes, I was like, go off, King.
Wow. Okay.
And everyone else was crying. They're like, oh no, the superheroes are gone. I'm like, yes, finally, someone did something.
Wow.
It's just every movie's the same. You're not getting casted for a superhero movie, right? Or can we move on?
No,
I won't.
I'm not.
Okay.
I have no ties to any of the franchises.
Okay. I wasn't trying to interrogate you about I
personally, I don't really watch those movies. I liked X-Men growing up, so I have a little more of a soft spot for the Marvel X-Men kind of related stuff, even though they don't truly follow the comic book sequence, but I like I like watching them for nostalgic sake.
I get it. I mean, look, it's just what's happened to it is horrible. And my friend was always like, Marvel's cool because these actors get casted And then like they do this Marvel big budget Marvel movie, then they can go off and do all their indie projects because now they're rich. And so it actually helps cinema. And I'm like, that's a stupid argument, because why can't we live in a world where you just do the cool indie projects from the beginning? Why do you have to do this bullshit movie to like get the money to fund your indie projects?
I think you really cornered us, Sean. I think you really got to the crux of the issue. Yeah, people should be people should be handed out amazing opportunities without any merit or basis or funding. Yeah, wow.
That's what I believe.
Yeah.
I'm a socialist.
That's what it comes.
When it comes to that, I am it should be funded. It should be funded by the government, and I should be in charge of it.
People's indie projects should be funded by the government.
People's indie films should be funded by South Africa.
Side note, I'm trying to get my parents to co-sign my New York City apartment.
That is an aside. I got my mom across the finish line. I got her across the finish line. She's going to co-sign, dude.
Good for you, man.
And for a while there, I really thought she wasn't going to do it. And it fucked me up, bro. I almost turned that almost made me an evil human. Like it really did. I was like,
what were you going to do?
I was going to have to go back into finance. Well, you graciously offered to help out.
Right.
And if that didn't work, I was going to be like, okay, if I really need to make 15 grand a month, every month for 4 months, I'm going to be doing something that's bad for humanity.
But when has that
unless you're a comedian, unless you're a comic, pretty much every job where you make over 15K a month is bad for humanity. Would you agree with that?
Man, your theories just get wilder and wilder. Any job where you make over 15K a month. Sorry, I thought you said a year for a second. For a month is bad for humanity.
Well, I'll say most. I won't say all. I'll say most.
No, that's a fair theory. That's a fair theory.
Data scientist for Chevron. I don't know. Political.
Well, just because most jobs have most industries have some kind of evil impact on humanity. It's at that point. So it's just like, why work? Just sell people food out of your garden.
Yeah. For like $14.99. I would be doing that.
Yeah. Let me ask you this, man. What's the most viral video you ever had on social media? What were you talking about?
It was a math joke.
What were you talking about?
Math.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Do you think most of your followers came from that?
No.
No?
I bet zero. I literally bet. Oh, online followers?
Yeah.
Yes. Definitely. Yeah. Definitely.
So you're the math guy. You're known as the math guy in stand-up.
I mean, you're the math guy.
How does it feel to be the math guy in stand-up?
I mean, I would ask you the same question. You're the math guy.
Well, I mean, no, scaled to how many followers or like how many views or your virality compared to your other content. You're the math guy. It's me, I've had all sorts of other bits go viral and stuff.
Yeah, right. I guess so, dude. Yeah. Well, I'm the math guy, and I have had a lot of viral videos related to the military-industrial complex.
There you go. So you're the math military guy.
So I'm the anti-military math guy.
So you're a numerical terrorist.
I'm a non-violent numerical.
You're non-violent. You just threatened to kill yourself 3 times.
That's not violence. No, my friend had a great take. I was like, why is suicide illegal?
Yeah.
And he goes, because someone killed someone. And I was like, fuck.
It is violence.
It's violence. That's bars, dude.
It's suicide illegal because somebody has to clean it up.
Jesus Christ. I don't think that's why it's illegal, Sammy. It's because of the lobbyists in DC that made no.
Yeah. My take is actually suicide creates jobs. It creates hotlines, because without actual suicides, if it was just the threat, then like the hotlines would not be making as much.
Jesus Christ.
And then also
is this your conspiracy?
Somebody has to clean it up. Cops get called. Ambulance gets called.
It's a multi-billion-dollar industry.
Putting in hours.
Fuck.
You're
right.
Your family has to throw a funeral. So caskets, caskets, rentals, all that stuff.
It's an industry.
Yeah, it's an industry. The
suicide industry.
Yeah. So,
that's actually crazy.
If it wasn't actually profitable, if it wasn't actually good for the economy, there wouldn't be suicides. Our suicide hotlines would be more effective. And
if it wasn't revenue,
The suicide industrial complex.
the suicide industrial complex, that's heavy, dude.
Yeah.
I feel like, I mean, you know, I've said this on stage and it never works, but I go, suicide is the ultimate protest against a reality that forced you to exist.
I can see why they didn't laugh.
And then I go, how's that for a new Tinder bio, guys? What do you think?
That's funny. Crowds don't really like suicide jokes.
It's really, really
You
hard.
have to really be careful because
It touches everyone.
it touches everyone. Because most people who come to comedy shows just thought about suicide earlier that day, so you don't want to like bring it up again. They're like, I'm here to not think about that anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And then you remind them.
And then they're like, God damn it.
Yep.
Well, I have some questions for my listeners.
Sure.
Do you want me to? And this, we'll both answer them.
Sure.
And these are real questions. These aren't like stuff that I made up.
I wasn't questioning that until you said that.
But they're real. I'll show you after.
Okay.
Thoughts on vegan Italians
They don't
from
exist.
Kareem? They don't exist?
No.
I agree with that.
Vegan Italian is not a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they get crucified.
Yeah.
If you're an Italian that tries to go vegan,
The last vegan Italian was Jesus.
is that your new book? Oh, by the way, Sammy has a new book coming out, guys. It's called The Last Vegan. Jesus died for our salami.
Right.
He died for our ability to eat meat. And the claims, and this is from me, someone and my listener Kareem asked, what can you say about the claims that you're affiliated with Big Oil? And I guess I really can't comment on that.
Yeah, I mean, you travel a lot for stand-up. You drive a lot.
I do drive a lot. We burn a lot of carbon emissions.
Right.
I do.
Right. Yeah.
Small oil. I like small oil. I like mom and pop gas distributors.
Do you actually do that? Do you actually favor mom and pop gas distributors?
No. The bigger, the better. When it comes to gas, no, because when it comes to gas stations, I like big business.
Sure.
I like candy.
Sure.
I like clean restrooms.
Right.
And I like gas at a rate that was able to be achieved through economies of scale.
Yeah.
And you can only get that with your chevrons, your marathon oil.
So what was the question?
The question is thoughts on vegan Italians and the claims that you are affiliated with Big Oil.
So so the claims that you're affiliated with Big Oil, and you just basically said you are.
So yes.
Yeah.
And I'm not ashamed of that. Okay, here's a more topical one. Is Trump violating the Johnson Amendment by selling Bibles?
What is the Johnson? I'm
going to look it up.
Yeah, I've
never heard of the
it,
Johnson Amendment.
I've heard of it, but I forget what it is.
The Johnson Amendment is a provision in the U.S. tax code that prohibits all 501c3 nonprofit organizations from endorsing or opposing political candidates. Okay, so
can you repeat that again?
The Johnson Amendment is a provision in the tax code that prohibits all 501c3 nonprofit orgs from endorsing or opposing political candidates.
So I'm sure there's more of a specific clause that they're referencing, but like it sounds like the relation of religious institutions to a campaign, right?
I actually thought it was more like the organization that Trump is using to raise
the money by selling Bibles.
I think that's what I think he's raising funds for his political campaign, which is again a nonprofit, set up as a nonprofit.
Yeah.
Selling Bibles in order to fund his election.
Right.
And then the question is that an endorsement of a political candidate? Mm-hmm. I mean, Chris, that's a good question. I mean, I guess I'll say two things. I love the Bible and I love dick sucking. No, I don't know. Let the man sell Bibles. That's kind of I don't know. Let the man, now whether or not he should be able to use those funds towards a campaign, tax-free, I disagree. If he's going to sell Bibles with his face on it, Godspeed. No pun intended. But using the funds from that untaxed, that should be taxed. That's revenue. That's income. So if it's untaxed, then yeah, I would say it's maybe not whatever. I don't know about an amendment. I'm kind of against law. I'm kind of against.
Yeah, you seem to have contradicted yourself a few times during this podcast.
I'm against like written law.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, Sammy? You know what I'm trying to say it in an easy way, but it just comes out wrong. I'm not against the law, but I'm against like these agreements that we make as a society.
I realized what your political shape is in the n-dimensional space.
What is it?
It's a downward spiral.
Is it that spiral that has infinite volume but a finite surface area?
Yeah.
That's a calculus joke.
There you go.
My brain has infinite volume of emptiness and a finite surface area.
I believe it. Any other questions?
And then there's Chris asks, so, by the way, if you ask a question, join the Facebook group, facebook.com/groups/Sean Show. Every time someone asks a question, I give them $5.
Oh, cool.
I give them money.
Cool.
I'm like the opposite of a sponsorship. I sponsor them. Okay. Attempts have been made to lighten the restrictions of this amendment. My listeners are kind of smart. Like, I don't even understand this shit. Attempts have been made to lighten the restrictions of this amendment, claiming it's against our right to free speech and freedom of religion. I believe if changes are made, it would blur the lines of separation of church and state. Opinions? Well, the church and state are not separate. And if you think that the church and state, that's not talking about the law. Mm-hmm. The law says church and state are separate, but we all know that's not true.
Is it actually codified into the law? I mean, it's just kind of its old premise that we established a long time ago, but is it actually?
I wonder if it's in the Constitution. I think it's in the Constitution. Isn't it in the freedom of, isn't it in?
No.
Is that not in, like, is
it's
that not
codified in the Constitution? I think it was just kind of one of the foundational premises of,
like a philosophy?
Of the nation. But I don't, I mean, I'm sure there's examples of where it's written into the law.
Yeah.
But via the First Amendment, because there's freedom of expression of religion and stuff, I think that would create a lot of conflicts for situations where, religion is intertwined with the law. But I think that there's, I mean, because you have like the main in the recent years, at least the main thing that comes up is kids saying Pledge of Allegiance in school, where they say under God.
Dude.
We did that.
There's no better feeling than you go, I pledge allegiance to the flag. If I could, I never said under God.
Yeah.
I go, and to the republic for which it stands, and liberty and justice for all. Or I go, one nation and liberty and justice for all.
But
and I felt like such a fucking badass.
Complete sentence. One nation and liberty and justice for all.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah. What else? Well, you have
one
to finish
nation.
that thought.
One nation and liberty and justice for all.
One nation. That's not even a sentence.
I say the full allegiance, but I wouldn't say under God.
Yeah. Right. But that's like not grammatically, you're
one nation under.
God only understands grammatically correct statements. You're just
good grammar is that of, what do they say? Cleanliness is next to God. Grammatic cleanliness is next to godliness.
Right.
Did you ever say under God during the allegiance?
Well, I believe that. No, I believe that we should be saying the Pledge of Allegiance in schools to show our dedication to the nation in the way that it was written. And I also believe in the freedom. For the First Amendment, freedom of expression and religion. So I always said, one nation under Allah. One nation under Allah and 72 virgins for all. And I guess my teachers didn't really like it that much.
One nation under Allah and jihadi acts for everyone.
Right.
I mean, who do you think is less American, me or you? Patriotic.
Wow.
Patriotic.
Wow.
No, patriotic.
Wow. No, I understand the subtext exactly.
No, Sammy.
Who's less patriotic?
Who's less patriotic, me or you?
It's for sure you.
What?
It's for sure you.
You think I'm less patriotic than you?
Yes, absolutely, 100%.
Well, yeah, I don't believe in sovereignties.
Everything you said in this podcast shows how little regard and respect you have for this country.
People are gonna watch this and let's say a bigot stumbles onto the show.
Yeah,
they would assume you are the one who is against America, wants Sharia law,
of course,
and then they listen to 10 minutes and they'll be like, "Wow,
right."
Sammy really needs to check this guy. This guy's crazy.
This country, America, which we're both citizens of, is currently funding and committing a genocide on my people, and yet I'm still more patriotic than you. That's how little respect you have for this country.
Why? Look, it's John Lennon, and I've said this to you, Sammy. John Lennon said, "Imagine there's no countries."
Right.
And I don't really know. I can't articulate the platform.
He said, "Imagine there is no countries."
Imagine there is no countries. I wonder if you can. And you know, I said, I wonder if you can. He was challenging us to imagine that. And I'm not going to get on a soapbox. But like, does that mean John Lennon is an anarchist? He goes, imagine there's no countries. So John Lennon, I know you were assassinated, but John Lennon, this is a question for John Lennon. Okay, what is this world in which you envision where there's no countries? Elaborate, John.
He also said it's easy if you try.
Okay, well, I'm trying. It's pretty goddamn hard. What do you think a world would be like without countries? Like, do you believe? Because I talk about this sometimes. My theory is you have the globalist agenda where you have one authoritarian world government and we're all slaves to some computerized dystopian techno government. Or maybe we have a world with no government. But how, my main thing that I think about is how is the law enforced? Or how is everyone's security and safety ensured without some sort of monopoly on violence?
Yeah, I don't think there is a world without a government. I think that's just not that couldn't happen in this day and age.
Do you think it could ever happen?
I think there could be a world government. I don't think it's going to happen, but I think it could happen. I mean, imagine if the United States just decided to use all of its wealth and resources to take over the world and just run every country like a united state.
I mean, isn't that
with enough violence and willpower, it could do that.
I kind of think that we are doing that.
Well, we're trying to, but like there's a couple countries that are in the way.
You're a nationalist. In the way.
There's like a dozen countries in the way. Yeah.
Name names. We're like a rap show. Sammy, name those names.
No, I can't.
Bro.
I can't release the names of the
Russia,
China, Russia. No, I mean, if you look at the sheer wealth of the United States, we have more wealth than a lot of the countries in this world combined.
I thought you were going to say more wealth than Allah.
That would be
which is false.
Yeah,
because Allah doesn't even look at wealth. Are you an atheist?
No. I don't.
Are you spiritual?
I don't. I mean, I'm somewhat spiritual. I value mathematics. So when it comes to religion, either they're all true or none of them are true.
Okay. Yeah. I like all of them are true.
Yeah, I think I go with all of them are true. It's really, I think
that's a fun
I think it's like really whatever you want to believe, and if you believe it enough, it's true.
That's very true.
So you have in this world, you have billions of Christians, billions of Muslims. So that's the Christianity and Islam are the two main religions in the world. You have the most people who fundamentally believe that that's what it is, and so. That's the strongest manifestation power in this world is Christianity and Islam.
It's, I grew up believing.
But there's also a lot of Hindus.
Right. Shout out to the Hindus.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy to grow. I grew up believing in the Christian God.
Mm-hmm.
How crazy is that? I believe
it's not that crazy given where you are, where you were born, et cetera, et cetera.
No, the things combined to like put me in that situation, but like I actually believed it. Like I believe, like I'm a pretty smart guy, and I actually believed that like there was like like staircases to a fucking golden arch, and like you go in there, and you meet everyone that's dead, you meet everyone that you love that's dead. I don't know if sorry, a little bit of a bummer, but like atheism's hard to sell. Because people are like Christians and Islam, every religion, when you die, you meet everyone you ever loved and you get to reunite with them. Atheism is like, you will never see, and remember those people that you've loved, you will never meet them again. And when you die, there's nothing. It's not.
Thank you all for tuning in today. I think we've had a great talk. We are at our time.
Yeah, we're
limit,
at time, guys.
So I think it's a good thought to leave the listeners on. You know,
you will die, and there's nothing. So why not choose me as your god, Sean Riley?
This podcast is sponsored by the Suicide Industrial Complex. AKA Starbucks.
This show is propaganda for the suicide industrial because
Now that is something I agree with.
Yeah, and I own shares in the suicide hotlines.
Right.
Every time you call a suicide hotline, I get 0.5%. I get half a penny.
Somebody does do that somewhere.
They're all surely they're nonprofits, but the CEOs of those nonprofits get paid a lot of money.
No, everything requires money to function.
Everything needs a little bit of capital.
Money. Anything with a
I was going to say as a prank, we should call a suicide hotline, but that would be way too far.
That's where
that would be really fucked up.
Yeah.
That would be bad.
That's where my religious principles would stop me.
I tried to call this last episode. I tried to call this agency. And what they do is they set up passport. So like have you heard of second passports or golden passports? Mm-mm. So when you get wealthy enough, and all of the wealthy are doing this in America, hypocritical, Peter Thiel, founder of Palantir, defense contractor for America.
Yeah.
He is this patriotic guy publicly, but he bought a second passport to New Zealand because he's wealthy.
Yeah.
Citizenship by investment.
Yeah.
He is allowed to, if America goes to shit, the wealthy are going to run to these other countries.
Yeah.
So they
have a second passport. Yes.
They have a second passport or a second citizenship. They're dual citizen.
Yes.
So I called up one of these firms and they did not answer. But I was going to prank call one of these firms and be like, I just inherited $20 million. I'm looking for a passport.
You literally just got your first passport. So I would say stay in your lane.
I'm global entry, bitch. I'm global entry. I walk into the club, all these bitches be like, they're on me because I'm like, I got global entry. That wasn't a sex joke. We should stop.
Wow.
That wasn't okay. I have a
wow, man. Yeah, I'll
oh shit.
Yeah, I guess your girlfriend's here probably.
I got it. Thank you. All right, we're back.
Well, good,
guys.
Good. did they get the last joke?
No, they didn't get. That was a joke.
All right. Well, this has been great.
Thank you so much, Sammy. No, I appreciate the time, dude.
Of course.
We have a great show tonight. It's gonna be fun. Where can people find? Where can my 100 listeners find you?
SammyKO.com. You just Google Sammy Obeid. You don't got to spell my last name. Just put in Sammy O. It'll autofill the rest. You'll find where we're at on tour. We're touring all month.
We're on tour. Going to Canada. Shout out to Canada.
Yep.
And follow the show on Spotify, guys. If I ask you to do one thing, just follow the goddamn show on Spotify. And if you don't join the Facebook group, why are you even listening? Sometimes I really feel like you guys don't care. And that fucks me up. So I'll kill myself if you don't join the Facebook group.
Wow. The money that he was going to make us left, close the suicide joke. It's, yeah.
But that's our show, guys. Thanks, Sammy. Shout out to Chicago Podcast Studios for having us.
All right.